Hi guys, friend of the show, I kid, Ben Habib appeared on Brexit-friendly GB News to talk about his dream and Reform UK's ambition of obliterating the Conservative Party. Why? Well, according to Ben, they don't believe in Brexit, they don't care about the Union, and finally, they aren't really Conservatives. Ben used to be part of Nigel Farage's previous bandwagon, the Brexit Party, so of course he jumped onto this one. Have a listen.
We must ask about Reform UK, bright new party. You're going to fight every seat, virtually every seat at the next general election, 630. Will that obliterate you?
Wait a minute, they're not going to fight every seat. They're not fielding candidates in Northern Ireland. Now, unless they change their mind, but at the time of this recording, they were not fielding candidates in Northern Ireland. Now, Ben Habib is supposed to be, the standard bearer for Northern Ireland. He's the one fighting for Northern Ireland, fighting for the Union, and the Reform Party are not putting in candidates in Northern Ireland. Now, it doesn't make any political sense for them to do so, but it is a little bit ironic that somebody who was banging on about the protocol, remember, Ben Habib is, let me bring him back here so you can see him. Ben Habib is the guy who was standing with Jeffrey Donaldson and the TUV leader and a whole lot of other headbangers demanding that the protocol be removed. And they were going to the courts. They went to the High Court in Belfast. They went to the Supreme Court. They lost on every occasion. Their whole goal was getting rid of the protocol. And now they can't be bothered to field some candidates in Northern Ireland. What does that say about the Union?
Bright new party. You're going to fight every seat, virtually every seat at the next general election, 630. Will that obliterate UKIP, or will it obliterate the Tories, or both?
Well, UKIP is sadly a shadow of its former self. Yeah.
That's putting it very politely. Nigel Farage abandoned UKIP because UKIP was too racist for Nigel Farage. Just let that marinate in your mind for a moment. UKIP was too racist for Nigel Farage.
But my aim, and I'm absolutely unequivocal about it, and Richard and Nigel are on board for this, is to obliterate the Tory party.
Right.
There will be no surrender. There will be no deals. There will be no standing down in seats. We are going to take the fight to the Conservative Party. They are not Conservative. They are not pro-Brexit, and they're certainly not unionists, as we've just discussed.
So they're not Conservatives. That's a strange thing to say, because they're to the right of Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher would be pretty much a Liberal Democrat today if she was still around, in respect to what the Tories are doing. Stripping away people's rights to protest, to organise as trade unionists. These are the things that the Tories are pushing through at the moment. They don't believe in Brexit. This is the guy who voted for the withdrawal agreement, who voted for the Northern Ireland Protocol, which is part of the withdrawal agreement, when he was a member of the European Parliament. Didn't have a problem with the withdrawal agreement then. He spent all his career after that trying to get rid of it. And finally, they're not really unionists. I've said before, when it came to supporting the Union or supporting Brexit, Brexiteers chose Brexit on every occasion. The ERG supported Brexit over the Union. Even people who are not unionists were pointing out that Brexit is going to be damaging to the Union. And the response from Brexiteers were basically, I don't care.
If you kill the Tory party, you might let in Keir Starmer, who's the man who wanted a second referendum.
Andrew, you can't reward failure with incumbency. Down that road lies massive moral hazard. You inculcate bad behaviour, and we've had too much of that. We've had too much of, oh, I know we're awful, but the other lot are even worse. We've got to put paid to that. We're going to boot them out. I mean, they've got a year and a half to get their act together. Liz Truss very nearly came right. She very nearly espoused and even delivered some, remotely conservative policies. But this lot, they're not conservative. No one should bemoan the fact that the Conservative Party is going to be thumped in the next election. No Conservative should bemoan the fact that they're going to get thumped in the next election.
Okay. Thumped by whom? because it won't be the Reform Party. It'll be thumped by the Labour Party. Now, it's interesting because Ben Habib is speaking as if his party is going to win the next general election. That's not going to happen. Unless something dramatic changes the situation, but it's highly unlikely. I wouldn't put money on it, let's put it that way, that the Reform UK Party are going to win the next general election. But that's not their goal. Their goal is to push the Tories more to the right, especially economically. But they understand in order to push them economically, they need to sell the public some sort of culture war, or they need to sell them right-wing social policies. That's why they talked about woke and talk about Brexit and talk about other things like that. They want to lower taxes for businesses, big businesses in particular, multimillionaires as well. That's what their goal is. It's about pushing the Conservatives more to the right. And, you know, they have nothing to lose here, in a sense. If the Conservatives crash and burn, they'll just say, oh, it was their fault, not our fault for splitting the vote, because that's what they're going to do. If they're fielding candidates in every constituency, apart from Northern Ireland maybe, they are going to split the vote, and this is going to harm the Conservatives. Because in 2019 it was slightly different, because the Labour Party abandoned the centre. The Labour Party are not doing that this year. They're moving to the centre, and you're seeing a lot of policies that Keir Starmer and his front bench are talking about, being tougher on crime and not mentioning too much about Brexit. They're certainly not moving to the left here. They're moving more to the centre or to the right in some cases. So this is going to, and the Conservatives can't move to the centre because then they risk losing support on the right. So this is why you're seeing the Tories talk about culture wars and talk about boats and stuff like that, because they want to, they're afraid they're going to lose support to the likes of the Reform UK Party. And as I said, the Reform UK have nothing to lose. Their goal is not to get Brexit done or to get Brexit over the line or to get a hard Brexit. It's really just to push the Tories in a particular direction. And if the Conservatives get obliterated, as Ben Habib wants, it'll be by the Labour Party. And the likes of Ben Habib and others can turn around after and say, look, the Conservatives were not conservative enough. What you need going forward is a new Conservative Party that truly believes in conservatism and is more to the right. That's why they didn't win last time. And that's how they can win in the future. It's all pretty disgusting. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.